up, guys? Time to show off a build I just completed. This is the super distressed war machine build. So let's get into it. We have a custom laser dial that we did a lot of distressing on. The bulk of it is kind of a mirror finish, but it is in a distressed mirror finish. So certain angles you will see that it is not perfect. We did a lot of distressing in the background and not as much on the actual lasered right here in the center, because it has its own kind of lines and different things through it. So we did it a little bit to the mirror, so it wasn't perfect mirror finish. So you'll see a little bit up in the top there, you'll see a little bit down here, a little bit here, a little bit here. We try to get it all over the little place there. This is a tri-cerakote build, so we cerakote a base on it, then we do two different ones on top, and before they dry, we wipe them off before we bake them in. So you've got some cool black in there, you've got some gray, you've got, I don't remember if we used an antique silver or charcoal silver, but did that on the case, the milled bezel, the link band, milled caseback, the crown, and the clasp. Now actually the crown is the only thing that's not cerakoted. So oddly enough, the one that we did was engaging the hands as you were screwing it down, which is a crown issue. And I happen to have one extra Iron Man crown in full silver that I aged and let it sit in ager to distress it. Whenever I screwed it down, it was up pretty much upside down, or at an angle. So what I ended up doing is I took the crown out and I added a second rubber gasket in there to where it would be slightly off the case, not as wound down as far, but extra tight. So it didn't do anything to your waterproofness. All it did was, it's, you know, instead of being on like 7 threads, it's on 6, but with a double gasket on there. And it aligned it nicely, looking straight down. So when you screw it on there, you will know it is extra tight. You will feel it. So, but lasered crown, lasered caseback. So let's see if we can see that caseback a little bit. It has a cool finish to it. There it is. Just had to find the angle there. So caseback, and then obviously we did this on the double lock clasp as well. And that is the build. Oh, some black Moldova hands in there, and just a black lollipop seconds hand. Bezel will turn left, it'll turn right. It is held on with the tension ring, and I added a little bit on there so it wouldn't move as easily, but these are made to go back and forth. Automatic mechanical, you saw me back this off the crown. You've got a rotor in the back to keep time, but if it is dead or you're not going to be very active, you're going to back the crown off the threads so you can hear it and feel it clicking, and at that point you will wind. And a wind is a turn away from you. Turning it towards you won't wind it, but it is a lot easier to keep your finger spacing and go back and forth. If you do that for 4 or 5 seconds before you put it on, that mixed with your rotor movement will keep your time throughout the day. And if you do this something closer to 15 seconds, you're going to max out your 31-hour plus power reserve on it. You cannot overwind it, so don't worry about that. When you're happy with your winding, you're going to pull it to the 1 and only click. You can now set your time. Does not have a hacking movement, so it's going to keep going. You'll also notice it's got a wobble crown. This deflects lateral pressure from going through the stem and into the movement, so when you're pushing and prying on it, you're not putting any adverse pressures on anything. Okay, Google, what time is it?
It's 1:30 p.m.
So I kept time perfectly since I built it yesterday. you'll thread it down. And that is the build. As with every build, you're going to get matching beads. Now we can't cerakote distressed beads, they're glass, but you have some kind of marbleized ones in there that give that illusion. This will come in it's like a silvery War Machine Iron Man style box. So it'll come with watch cleaner. This is good on all glass and metal parts of this watch as a whole. Non-streaking, non-toxic, non-residue, as well as a microfiber. And it will also come with some fine scratch remover. This is Novus 2 from Amazon, just repackaged. It's for your acrylic glass. You can scratch it. If you do, you'll put a tiny bit of this on it, a tiny bit, and buff it out with your color matching microfiber. If the scratch is up and down, just go left and right on it, filling in that scratch, haze it, buff it out. If it's still there, wait a little bit, let that solidify, and then come back and build another layer into that scratch. And you should be peachy after that. Now, if you scratch this, you're just going to add more character to it. If you scratch it deep enough, you're going to get past the black and into the silver. That's the base watch. If you would do that, I would just advise you scratch it a little bit more on the edges and stuff and just make it look like that, because that will still look cool. I used to do them that way. I literally used to do black cerakote before we did multi-cerakote and then like this. And I would just take like something abrasive and I'd go just slightly up the side to where that would expose and be silver. And then do a little bit over here, right? And then do a little bit on the crown, and then a little bit on the, do it on the sides of this to like really kind of bring that out, and then kind of try and scuff through here. Now it's pretty difficult to scuff, but if you get some aggressive sandpaper, you can do that. So if you would ever scratch it, there's no way to redo this unless you redo kind of the whole thing, or redo the whole piece. So it can be done, but I would just make it look cool like that. A little bit of shiny silver is just going to go with the dial more. So this is literally a watch that it would be tough for it to not look cool, even if you hit it on something, is what I'm getting at. So that is the build. If it is going to you, congrats. This is the first War Machine build I've done. And yeah, that's it. If you want me to build you something custom and unique, reach out and I'll see what I can do. And if you want to continue to see videos like this, like and subscribe, as I put them up all the time. Thanks, guys.